Namaskara. Hello. I'm just going to make a video on WebApp and domain name mapping. I'll just go in detail by the points first. So yeah, basically we are from Katte Software and Solutions. It's a small startup from India. We are basically from Kannadigas. Okay, now I'll just come to the point directly. Obviously we are having many exceptional web developers or good app developers, but they're facing difficulty in deploying their web apps. So here I'm just trying to bring it up with some very less points. When you develop any web app, either developing or testing or whatever you're doing it locally, it will be running through localhost or with whatever the port number, all those things. Okay, so when you're deploying it to any server or any other what do you call cloud provider or anything, you will get an IP with one particular name mapping. Okay, so now that is by the web hosting provider. Okay, for that you need to host it with some name. For example, let's consider in my case katte.com, katthe.com. Here I'm just trying to showcase this name is my brand name, for example. So this name I wanted to I mean, whatever I hosted my application, that I wanted to show in this particular name, katte.com. Okay. So for that, we have to purchase the domain from domain providers. It's a different one. Don't confuse with hosting providers and domain providers. Hosting providers are like Azure, AWS, or any other private, your even your own static IP or server or something that is hosting. Okay, the domain providers means they are the one giving the name. For example, like facebook.com, that name alone itself you have to purchase from different place. I'm from India. In India, the Indian government and many other, they're just developing the concept like the domain like dot in extension domains. That com dot in or extensions are different purposes, all those things. And now, okay, so totally how it is mapping is your what do you call this hosted name, usually like this. For example, whatever is my app name, something like that, it's a lengthy name, dot azure websites dot net. When you host it, now you can share this name to the public. Now this name is available to publicly for others. Okay, that's done. But why you need this? For example, to make a catchy name. For example, facebook.com. Instead of that, if they are going to share facebook.azurewebsite.net, is that say good? No, at all. So for that purpose, you need to purchase domain names from W3infotech or GoDaddy, Hostinger. There are n number of platform providers. Okay, this is a dual key and lock mechanism. It's a simple. I am not going to use very depth. Instead, I'll just use very simple layman terms. Okay, so here dual key and lock mechanism. I'll just show you. So what it is so when you say this particular name, my app name dot azure websites dot net, this name will have a key. It has some few keys. Its IP address and few keys. That keys you have to add it to this hosting domain provider. When you do that, whenever the user hits this particular name, katte.com, in the browser, it looks for that particular key, whatever the data provided, that related details and redirects to this particular place. It's called DNS mapping, domain name server mapping, all those internal thing happens. Okay. So these keys, I told you, right? So those are like, it comes in a different factor, A records, usually A records, TXT records, and CNAME records. I mean, the first one A records, TXT records, and CNAME records. These three are common for probably very rare case. This last but one A records. Okay. Now, so yeah, before going to the practical itself, quickly I will go. Each domain will be having two domains. For example, katte.com, that is also one domain. www.katte.com. Okay, both will serve a different purpose. You can make it in a different way, but you have to map it separately. Okay, as I was telling, generally for each you will have CNAME, Arecords, and TXT, all those things. HTTPS certification is different. Okay, now coming to the practicality. So you can have this GoDaddy, this Hostinger. These are what do they call domain providers. You will buy the domain from them. Okay. For example, in my case, now I'm just going to show one example with W3infotech. It's because I do business with them and with all others. So here I'm just explaining with the example of this. Okay, you have to log in here with their whatever the domain providers, and once you purchase their domains, you will get these domain names like this. Okay, for example, now I'm just going to show with this particular one, the first one, 1gm.in, 1gram.in. Okay, for example, so if you just open this domain, you will get all the details. So before making the configurations, let me do one thing. Just hit that url in the browser. What happens, just observe. Okay, 1gm.in. So it's taking time. Okay, it says it's been redirected to some different url. Okay, yeah, this is what I was able to show. What happens many case, when you purchase a domain from any providers, they will do some redirect to some random page, some common pages like that. So this is one of the issue whenever we usually face. Okay, so for that case, first what you have to do is, if you have any forwarding like this, you should remove that first. Okay, you should remove that. There are multiple redirections, 301, 302. Why this redirection? Again, you have a domain name like this, 1gram.in. Whenever you wanted to, instead, you don't have any separate web page. Instead of this, for example, you can redirect it to any of your Facebook page. Then it's simple. Come here and just add the URL, like whatever the URL you wanted, like facebook.com/Kathai, for example. Okay, sorry, here. For this particular, when the user hit 1gram.in, leave it as empty and add it here, facebook.com/Kathai. Then it just redirects to that page whenever the user hits. This 301 and 302 is like, 301 means it completely redirects. The URL in the browser will become like the facebook.com. If you do 302, it just runs under a frame, like the URL remains 1gram.in itself. Then it gets appeared. So it's just a simple topic. Leave it. I'm just deleting the content now. Video goes lengthy, no option. I had to go practically. Otherwise, it will be problematic. Okay. So now coming to domain context is, if you have any domain contact details or discussion, then you can add it here. It's just a private information. Name servers. You will be having name servers for every for whenever domain name. What happens is, globally, some guy from America or Australia, whoever, when they hits their particular name, 1gm.in, what happens is, the global domain name maps will try to find the that particular domain from where it is, and all over the globally. So this is, they are the ns1.w3infotech.net. These guys will be registered as a registrars. Okay, through them it discovers our IP. For example, whatever is my project, and all those discussion happens. Okay, please check those mapping, how the DNS mapping, all those things works. Okay, now coming to the point. Okay, the page is ready. Now let me open my Azure page. Okay, let's take this example of, there is a page like my town, this page. If I go to this particular one, it's opening here. This is loading to this particular mytown.azurewebsites.net. Even though it shows the heading like this, don't get confused. My URL is hitting is this particular mytown.azurewebsites.net only. Okay, so app is running. It means whenever, coming back to the diagram, as I was showing, uh, you have developed locally and you deployed it to server. I mean, in my case, Azure. So the name is this dot my name azurewebsites.net. So here in this example, you can see mytown.azurewebsites.net. So this can be anything. So my town, how it came. So here this app is having my town. So that is why it came like this. This is default domain. It's a hosted URL. Now for this, you have to do map with the custom domain. I mean, I want to get this. When I hit the one gm.in, it is, when you hit this, it says it's not available or something like that. You can see now. I wanted to show you some difference. You hit this, uh, dot one gm dot in. Okay, okay, so it says the site can't be reached for this. For this, it says this one. The reason is, earlier, as you noticed, so when you notice this, when you hit the 1gm.in, it was showing like this. Now I removed that redirection. So now it should show, it is showing this one. The reason is, whenever we do DNS mapping, the locally, in our computer also, some data will be stored in my system. So better, when you do changes, either wait for some time or clear the cache, Especially this is the common problems when the developers are facing. So that's why I'm just trying to add all these points. See, now you can see same I'm hitting here, the same thing here also I'm hitting, but it shows as if I just close the browser and open it, then it become good. Okay, that's just a fix. Leave it. So now coming back to this, so custom domains. Okay, so here add custom domain. Here is the key. Probably many are expecting this step only. Okay, so now I'll just consider this example. If you are trying to purchase any domain from Azure itself, then different step. But I'm purchasing, showing it from two different entities. I mean, I purchase domain from outside, just like GoDaddy. In my case, it's W3infotech. All other domains here I'm doing 1gm.in. That's what my case. And be very cautious with the name. For example, if I, instead of 1gm.in, if I make it 1mg.in, then it becomes different case. Okay. For example, now if I am trying to add facebook.com, what happens is, let me show it. See, now you can see facebook.com. I typed. Okay. It is just showing me the key. Okay. You just add this key. It is not saying anything wrong because it is not restricting it. You give anything, any invalid names, but I mean proper convention like the name dot extension like that. If it is valid, then it just gives. It don't bother. So that is the reason. Be very cautious with your name. But if you add like that, it won't make any advantage. Okay. I'll just show you the flow. So now I'm just giving one gm.in. I'm again just warning uh, this kathe.com and www.kathe.com both are different. Okay. So now one gm.in and www.1gm.in both are different. Now this is the one I got it. Okay. It is showing for this particular record, add this in your web application configuration. Okay. So here now it is saying like a at the rate of at host add these values. Okay. Actually, I missed one step. Not missed. I just went fast. If I'm directly trying to add this earlier, it used to give error because I was having a forwarding. Okay, it used to show like there is already record exists kind of. So that is the reason when you have any forwardings, you be cautious. And also, if you have multiple some invalid records, you should clear it. Probably just make it like set it to default or some that kind of features is available in all the providers. Just check about it. Okay. Now coming back to this, at the rate of for host at paste this value. It is telling. So for this at paste this value, add record. Okay. It just take a while. Okay, it says the record was added successfully. Earlier it used to show, it used to fail actually because when you have forwarding. Now it has been added. Now switch back to the second one. For the txt record under ASUID, add this value. Just click on this copy ASUID for txt record. For txt record, I'm just saying it says this one. What type? Txt record ASUID. This particular one you have to paste. For txt record ASUID, just paste this. Okay, add txt record. It should show the message like successful, and it should appear somewhere. Just GoDaddy and all, it's just a light difference, not much. You added now. If you say validate, it usually fails. It usually says invalid kind of. Validation failed because, oh, okay, because it's not finding the mapping. The reason is I have updated here, for example, W3 or GoDaddy or anywhere. Still, why it is not reflecting? Because it takes time to update in global records. Okay, so for that reason, it might take up to 48 hours. It clearly says. Usually, it won't take. Usually, in my case, I used to face within 10 to 15 minutes, it will be fixed in most of the case. Okay, with GoDaddy or the W3 or this one. Very rare case it go ups. Okay, now, okay, meanwhile, so what is the case now? Done. It's waste of time of this video. No, I'll just show you something more. Afterwards, it will be continued. Don't worry. Now, I wanted to add for this www.1gm.in. For this also, you can see, understand here. Earlier, it was showing a record and txt, but now I said www.1gm.in. For that, it shows another two records. This is also different actually. Okay. So what you have to do under CNAME for www, you have to add this. Okay. Now let me jump back under CNAME. under this www. Here it was telling like a canonical host name, all those different conventions they use. Don't worry, the concept is same across the globe. Okay, CNAME mapping. They say CNAME mapping. Few say domain mapping. Don't get confused. Okay. Okay, CNAME I added www and this one. Okay, am I right? Because instead of adding this record, if you add it as TST records, it won't say anything wrong. Okay, but it says. But later you will get the problem. Now under txt record for asuid.ww add this value under txt record. Earlier you added asuid. Now you are going to add asuid.ww add txt record. Technically speaking, this value earlier added and this both are same, no different. You add it for 100 domains, you will get the same thing. I earlier also I told it's just a dual key and lock mechanism. Dual in the sense, if you add this particular value, you got the value from Azure portal, this key, and you are adding it to the hosting provider record. So when the user hits this particular name, 1gm.in, so it looks for this particular name and redirects to that particular page. That's simple, the concepts. But unnecessarily in the market, there are hundreds of issue documents. It makes confusing. That is the reason this video I'm making. Even I suffered a lot for this particular. It is saying like no matching TXT record was found. Why it could be txt records, it is saying. So better don't do at this point. Here, okay, I forgot to mention one more point. TLS certificate. TLS SSL means, TLS means handshaking mechanism. It means when you visit any website, you will get this HTTPS. For example, this portal is secure kind of. If you use it, hit the URL, you will get this HTTPS. How to get this certificate, all those things, that is here. For with respect to the Azure case, I'm just giving the example. If you use this app service managed certificate, it's a free of cost, as I know. Yeah, it's true. It's a free of cost. You will get it. And this TNS type, what type it is, IP based and all. IP based is separate little cost here. SNI SSL, so it's a free of cost. This you will get it. Okay. Earlier I clicked. Let me click again once again. Validate. I didn't navigate it anywhere. What I did is I just copied the values and I added to my domain provider's data. It told me just you're done. Good. So once you get both green, then only try to add. Otherwise, I will tell you what is the case. If you add it, then you will get some different issues like SSL certificate is not adding like that. So now you added this, it says no binding. Don't worry, it takes 10 minutes. You can see here one or more domains are not secure. Check common issues kind of. Okay, but it immediately fixed. I did nothing. I'm not pausing the video. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going continuously. Okay, all other. So again, I just came back. For example, if you are busy, you add hundreds of domain. Don't worry. You add it today and leave it. You take a break and then you come back after some time. Just come back and just keep add the type the value. So whatever the value you will get earlier, you whatever you received for this particular input, the out fix is value is fixed forever. Okay, now I'm doing validate earlier also, because now I'm not going to add there because I already added earlier. Don't, okay, it's just a one time. If you add it there, that's fixed. Okay, add it. Okay, it is saying www is done. This is taking time. Okay, let me do one thing. Okay, it is not refreshing. Cool, because I'm trying to bring up whatever usually developer faces the issues, because I spent nearly 3 or 4 years to get practice to this one. Even though it's a very simple, it was making me hell because many are explaining high level jargons. It makes wasted of time. So it's giving this error. So leave this browser better. Um, that's right. So it's saying this www dot. Let me open better incognito window. So always incognito window is better. How the opponent or users see this my page. 1gm.in. Right. It takes time actually, definitely. you can see here, please note that it might take up to 10 minutes for certificate to be issued or something like that. Okay. Yes. When you're testing, you have to be practiced with these things. Otherwise, even though you might be in hurry worry, now you can see here it is saying not secure, https 1gm.in. Okay, so ideally it is actually no, because it's not added binding yet. It is clearly saying here, you can see here. Okay, so for this testing purpose, whether my redirection works or not. Okay, it is still making some issue. Okay, it is taking some time. So better let me jump back to just verify all the records. If something else record exists, then it's problem. MX records, usually we don't have MX records. TX records only two. CNAME records only one. Good. SRV records, no. SRPF, SOA. Okay, no other records. Forwarding. Let me refresh my page. It's not quick, very practical value I'm just trying to tell. But how long it takes, that's my intention to show here. Okay, is it all good? ACID.ww. CNAME. Okay, a record. So when you added at here, usually this is a confusion for me also. So it gets removed actually. Okay, at will be truncated. At as star is kind of a global by default convention. Okay, okay, it's saying both are secure now. So 1gm.in. Actually, I have used this domain for some earlier different domain mapping kind of. Let me show up. Yeah, okay. Actually, it's been redirecting in my other place. Let me show up in it is the cache issue. Okay, how to do that? I'm just verifying in another my mobile device. It is working good. Okay. Meanwhile, just a second. Tick, 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 tick. Yes, both are good. How to test in the PC? So for that to test, better open any different browser. Kind of. I okay. It is not like that. Think this also it won't. Let me see. Okay, it is saying this because the local DNS mapping stays in my PC only. Okay, I'll just show you that. Yeah, let me. I'll just show you. It's called flush DNS concept. I have to clear it the cache locally. So that was the issue. Uh, you can see I just tried in different browser also. It's not clearing. Okay, it's a developer puzzle or what do you call? Okay, I'll just show you. It's just simple. It's just command how to clear IP config plus uh, DNS cache in Windows, for example, 10 or 11 or whatever you feel. Okay, if you just see this comment, they just say simple ipconfig plus DNS and then restart the PC. Okay, let me open the command prompt. It is simple ipconfig slash flush DNS. When you do this, it says Windows IP has been flushed, the DNS resolver cache, but it requires still the system restart. Okay, because It's been added to the cache. That cache restart requires many other service restart and all those things. Instead of that, what you can do is you can just restart the PC. It's just a simple step, or check in other device. Right now, in my case, I am checking it in my mobile device, and I just forwarded it to my WhatsApp. Okay, yeah, the result is this 1gm.in. If you hit, it's just giving this page. So the point is that simple. The mapping, the key factor is very simple. It's just a dual mapping. See, you can see now still 1gm.in it's showing look like this. I have cleared the cache, but still it is finding this. The answer is that only, nothing else. If I restart the PC, it's fixed. It's a developer normal real-time problems. Okay. Now coming back to the points generally for HTTPS, and the same thing I did for two domains, kathe.com and www.kathe.com. I mean 1gm.in and this www.1gm.in. Okay. If any more questions, you can reach to me and kathe@outlook.in. So keep doing, keep sharing the good things, and keep sharing the good things like this, and please link to me wherever necessary. Thank you.